Hey, welcome to Clarity Tarot. Today's reading is going to be, what are you doing right? Maybe you're like me and you're tired of thinking about all the things that could be improved or that you're doing wrong or that just aren't quite right. Today's reading is going to be focused on everything you're doing that is already awesome, that you should just keep doing and you'll have great results. So I'm very curious to see what we'll get today. 4 piles for you. Pile 1 has the Knight of Wands. Pile 2, the Lovers. Pile 3, Nine of Cups in the reverse. And pile 4, the Towers. Check the description box for your timestamp and I'll see you at your reading. Hey, pile 1, if you picked Knight of Wands, let's look at what are you doing right. 5 of Swords in the reverse and Queen of Swords. So you are accepting yourself in a new way. You're forgiving yourself. Maybe you know that you kind of shoot from the hip, say things that don't always land the best way with others. And you can be a little bit impulsive in terms of your decisions and where you want to go. But all of that is coming through as a positive and something that you're doing right. So maybe it just makes people uncomfortable. Maybe you've heard a lot of feedback in your life that you should be more practical, more safe, more consistent, whatever criticism you've received, but you rightly have told those people where they can stick their opinions, and you are accepting yourself and just letting it fly, letting it flow. And Spirit's really wanting to commend you for this because I think it's been a journey for you to get there, pile 1. Maybe you've really gotten a lot of negative feedback, negative mirroring about these aspects of your personality. But there's something that's really important about who you are as a person that needs to function this way. It's a good thing for you. So I'm gonna ask for more about that. So can you tell us more about this? With pile 1, their ability to say things straight, to tell the truth, to radical acceptance for themselves and others, and charging the next hill, charging into the next fire. I'm really getting with this Knight of Wands, this vibe of a person who's just like, where's the fight? Let me get in there. And wanting to, I just keep hearing charge the next hill, take the next hill. We have the Tower and the Magician as clarifiers. So you make things happen and you don't care what corners you have to cut to get there or what you need to do. And again, not in a negative way. Like sometimes people see this or just misunderstand it in you, but you're actually a very practical person. I think sometimes people judge you as being impulsive or not, like your decisions not being that thought out, but you're actually listening to deeper parts of yourself. You're connected to spirit and you're manifesting. I don't love that word, but like you're creating possibilities. You're making change happen. And you know that often change comes from destruction. You don't want to build something new on a faulty foundation. So part of what you do when you're going about making change is tearing old things down or just letting them fall down or telling the truth that like, hey, this is broken. This is not going to work this way. And people don't always want to hear that, but that doesn't mean that you should change anything about you, pile 1. With this Magician card, the Magician card it's a very powerful card. It's Major Arcana. Basically, the Magician is the combination of the impact of all the different suits. Like you have swords, cups, air, and fire all at your disposal. Meaning that like you are mentally strong, physically strong, emotionally and spiritually, and you can combine all of those things to do whatever it is that you need to do. And I think, if you're in a Western culture like the US, really what's valued here is a mental orientation and not much else. I think emotional is starting to come online a little bit more. But I think it just makes others uncomfortable for you to be using all these different parts of yourself at once. But you should not change a thing. Can you tell me more, please, Spirit, about this? Why is this so right about pile 1? This Tower card keeps winking at me. Queen of Cups. Well, everything that you do, you're actually doing with love. You're just not like a bleeding heart kind of person where you wear it on your sleeve. With the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands coming out first. But people that actually understand you, they see that everything is done from a lens of compassion and to serve humanity. The Lovers and the Seven of Cups in the reverse. So what I'm getting with the Seven of Cups in reverse, it's like you've seen every possibility. You know what happens if one particular road is taken. It's like you can predict the outcome. This is reminding me of Enneagram type 6. For any of you Enneagram lovers out there, like one of the talents of Enneagram 6s is that they're able to almost like see into the future and risk mitigate anything that might happen. So I'm really getting that vibe from you. Like you've seen it all. You've gone down all those rabbit trails in your mind. And so you're able to very quickly put all the pieces together and know which direction to go. But it just doesn't always look like wisdom from the outside to others. I don't think you actually care about that too much anymore, pile 1. It's like you have this unshakable trust in yourself. With the Lovers coming out here, so normally when this card comes out, I get the sense that the person watching the video is like this young maiden type character on the card. But I'm actually getting that you're the beast, and hear me out. You're the beast because it's like your thoughts, your actions, your words, sometimes if taken at face value, people can react to them or not understand. But on the inside, it's actually like you're these two people combined. Like on the inside, you're this really sweet, loving person, but you can come across like this beast. And what I'm hearing though is that this is actually a gift in disguise, because people that are selfish or small-minded or not on your path or not on your same mission are going to just judge and misunderstand you and take themselves off of your path. But for those that are actually wise and more understanding, they're going to see who you are beneath the exterior and absolutely adore you for it. Okay, I'm hearing another message now. So some of you might be listening to this and thinking like, is she saying I'm ugly or like that I'm scary? And no, it's not. This is energetic. I'm actually hearing that physically you're very attractive, very beautiful. So it's not about how you look. There's some kind of vibe that you bring that puts people immediately on the defense. And I think you actually know this. If you were to really think about this for a minute and look back across your life, I think you would notice that there is just something about your presence that sometimes puts people on edge. And it's this, what Spirit is saying is that it's because you bring the Tower with you. But the Tower is not a bad thing. I mean, Tower is like Scorpio energy. It's about transformation. It's, again, about letting the old fall away so that the new can come. But sometimes people they get this energetic hit of like fear or like, oh boy, what's going to happen? This feels uncertain. And so because of that, those that are smaller basically aren't able to deal. And those that are stronger just absolutely love you for this quality. And again, so this is showing up in a reading for you about what's right about you. Like there's nothing that's wrong about you for having this quality. You were created exactly like this, and the sad thing or the wrong thing would be to hide it away or try to make yourself wrong for being this way. No, like it's absolutely good and positive and what the world needs. What more about this for pile 1, please? We have the Hanged Man. I think you're really able to see stagnation in all of its forms, and like when it's on the horizon, when it's coming, like, okay, if I take a left down this road in my life, that's eventually going to end with me stagnating. So if I'm going to take that road, I'm only going to do it for a certain amount of time. So, okay, so, and I'm hearing an example come to mind. So let's say you move to a new city and you live alone. You immediately would know, okay, I'm in a new city. If I don't go out and meet people, if I don't like very proactively work on like my social connections and support system, I will be lonely, depressed, frustrated, and have emotional struggles because I don't have community here. So that would just be like a simple example of where like you just immediately know how different choices lead to an eventual outcome, and the outcome that you're always looking for is continued growth and development, continued positive change. Okay, anything else? Last pull for pile 1. What are they doing right? What's right about them? 8 of Swords. So, despite... I don't want to say it that way. So, even though you know that people sometimes take you wrong and that isn't your problem and it's not your fault, you have grown in knowing, in your discernment of knowing like what to say when. And it's, I think maybe when you were younger, you viewed like not saying everything that was in your mind as like being deceptive or not authentic. Whereas now you know sometimes being authentic actually means being silent or holding some things back that you might say. So, the Spirit's also just wanting to let you know, like if you feel like you're putting your foot in your mouth or there's things that you say that were the wrong thing to say at the wrong time, Spirit's letting you know that like actually you've really improved and you're not who you think you are in that area. You're actually quite wise, quite discerning, and quite gentle with the messages you deliver and when. The only thing is that sometimes things that you say actually upset you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually had an experience like this yesterday. So I was talking to one of my clients, one of my major clients right now, and we were talking about an organizational problem. And I said, look, it's this. It's because nobody wants to say that this person isn't going to cut it and that whatever we invest in them is going to end up being negative in the long term. Like, nobody wants to say that, so we want to keep believing in the small percentage chance that things could turn around, that this person could be exactly what we need, but that's actually just not reality. And no one else wants to say it. I'm happy to say it. So I personally say we should cut our losses now and have the hard conversation to let this person go. So that would be an example of something where like, so I said that and I felt bad most of the day because I actually liked that person that we were talking about. But it truly, in my opinion, in my judgment, like that was the right way to look at it for the situation. And I don't think the person I was talking to viewed me negatively for saying that, but I felt bad about it because it's an uncomfortable set of truths. Does it make sense? Pile 1. So Spirit's saying there's something similar going on with you, and sometimes you're feeling your own feelings and thinking that that's how others are feeling about you, but that's actually not the case. Let's close your reading with a card from the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. So, card for pile 1, please. What are they doing right? What's right about them? The Delicate Fairy and Her Ferrets. This is a perfect card for you. Number 24. Change is natural, good, and yes, it can hurt. I think that that is a great summary for your reading. Pile 1, you are an agent of change, and sometimes it's painful, but that doesn't mean that it isn't natural and good, and that the way that you are in the world is not also natural and good, because it is. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Leave me a like, comment, or subscribe, and see you next time. Hey, Pile 2, if you picked the Lovers, let's look at what are you doing right. The Lovers, Temperance, and Eight of Swords. So we've got the Lovers is Gemini, Temperance is Sagittarius, and then Eight of Swords, which is air signs. What are you doing right? So there's a key relationship in your life. I think that it is probably, it's either romantic or family, so like a sibling or a parent, but certainly an intimate relationship, so one of the 5 closest people to you in your life. And you've noticed that in order for there to be health and balance in this situation, that you have to pull back a little bit with the Eight of Swords. I think it's been very uncomfortable for you to not show up as natural, or I'm hearing the word authentic, but Spirit's wanting me to explain that. So I think it feels inauthentic to you to not just like give this person everything, shower them with all your love, spend all your time and attention on them. That feels inauthentic in a way, because it's what you want to do. But there's actually another part of you, a wiser part of you, that is also needing to be authentic by saying, like, I only invest the best parts of me in places where it's reciprocated and where that's seen as the gift that it is. And if I'm not experiencing that, then I pull back a bit and shower some of that love and attention on myself or on the other people in my life where it is reciprocated. So even though there's a part of you that believes that and knows that's the right thing, it's still kind of a bummer. It's still not the way you would like the truth to be. And so I think sometimes the word that you use for that is that it feels inauthentic, or it doesn't feel like you, which is a real problem in this relationship, because you want to be able to feel natural and like it's flowing freely and neither side is controlling everything, but you're having to be in a more controlling state, in this sense, like controlling yourself basically, to not overgive to this person. But Spirit's coming through to let you know, like, if you ever doubt yourself about whether what you're doing is mean or wrong or petty or manipulative, I'm hearing all kinds of judgmental words in my mind. It's none of those things. It's truly the best act of love you could possibly get. It's just triggering. And so don't confuse feeling triggered with feeling like you're doing the wrong thing. And I think actually that you know this, pal, too. I think you know you're doing the right thing. Just sometimes maybe you get a little bit down. So let me be the person as a messenger from Spirit today to let you know that, once again, as you know, you're doing exactly the right thing in this relationship. The amount that you're giving, whether that's 0 or half or 90% of what you would like to, whatever the case is here, you're doing it exactly right. So what else, Spirit? What else would you like Pile 2 to know about what they're doing right in life right now? What is Pile 2 doing right? Two of Swords. Three of Wands. You're being defensive and looking to your own future. And actually, I think, so Three of Wands to me is always a card of romance and exploration, adventure. I think you want to feel alive in your life, Pile 2. You want to feel like you can explore the world and explore yourself in all ways, like intimately and otherwise. And so you're looking for ways to do that even if it doesn't involve this person. Like, they can come if they want, is what I'm hearing, but they have to participate at a somewhat equal level. And the fact that you're like standing your ground with that, Spirit is coming through to say, like, that is exactly right. You're doing just what is needed. More, please. What is pile 2 doing right? We have the Tower and the Magician, which actually just came out in pile 1 together, so I wonder if you might want to read that also. The Tower and the Magician, what are you doing right? You're letting whatever is not going to last fall apart. You're not trying to prevent anything from falling apart. And my favorite phrase from this, you may have heard me say before, is natural consequences. You're not protecting someone from the natural consequences of their actions, such as, if you don't ever call me or tell me how you feel or try to get closer to me, then we're not going to be close because I'm not going to take all the work on myself. The Magician is about creating something new, and I'm getting that this is more like in your own life. Like you're creating the life that you want. So you're not waiting for someone else to create it for you or to do it for you. And this has taken a lot of work for you, I think, pile 2. You've really had to do some soul searching. You've had to get really honest with yourself and focus on, okay, what do I actually want though? What makes me happy? What am I seeing in my life that should be different? And then you're going out and making those changes, and Spirit is just giving you a huge round of applause for that. 5 of Swords. Oh, I'd love to see this card in your spread. Typically, 5 of Swords is about kind of being like selfish, egotistical, my way or the highway, like I will win at all costs. And it's coming through in a reading about what you're doing right. So again, like I think the way that you're showing up feels kind of triggering to you at times. Like you might even call yourself some of these names, like selfish, egotistical, self-centered, not taking the other person's feelings or experience into account, not compassionate. But the truth is that actually this is exactly what's needed for that Temperance card, for everything to come into balance, for you to be at your best, and for this relationship to have a chance. So I'm getting that this, of everything we've seen so far in your spread, like this has been the hardest for you, to be willing to feel all the uncomfortable feelings, like allowing yourself to feel guilty rather than rushing to meet somebody else's expectations or to participate in a codependent dynamic. You're refusing to do that, even if it's triggering for you, even if you get all these voices accusing you of being wrong or bad or mean or whatever it is. You know the truth, and you know yourself, and you trust yourself, and you trust Spirit. You're my hero, pile 2. Seriously, this is so hard to do. The times I've had to do it in my life have been really overwhelming. Probably the most difficult things I've ever had to do have been in this area. So, and this is just such a powerful card, 5 of Swords, to me. The energy of it is so ironclad. It reminds me of like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, like, you shall not pass. And we have Temperance again with the 3 of Cups. You're learning how to have balance in your friendships as well. Maybe it's been a little bit more extreme in your romantic or family relationships, this lack of balance. But I'm hearing, even though it hasn't been as obvious, this has been in your friendships as well. And so Spirit's wanting to let you know that like you working on this in these other areas is positively impacting your friendships. And so I'm having a thought right now that maybe for some of you, this might just be for a couple of you watching this reading, but you may think like, the best friendships of my life are behind me. Like I'm never going to have a friend like that particular friend that I had when I was young, or I'm never going to feel that close to someone again. And Spirit's wanting me to let you know that actually that's not true, that the best friend of your life is actually in your future. That's a really important message for somebody. It's almost like you feel there's still a part of you that believes that relationships are better when you are overgiving, when you were, pouring all of yourself into them. There's just no way to ever get back to that because you're not willing to pour the same amount into ones that aren't reciprocal. And so because of that, you'll never have a friendship that's as good as those ones, at least some of the moments of those ones from your past. And Spirit's saying, no, actually, like maybe you've been in kind of a dry spell the last, I'm going to say 2 to 5 years or so, where you've had some friends, but no, like, not as deep, like soul connections, like soul family, soul tribe, like some of those from your younger years. But this has just been like the pruning and the rebalancing period, I'm hearing, and the best friendships of your life are yet to come. So I'm really hoping that you can have the faith to believe that, pile 2, because it's feeling so solid and so strong and so true inside of me, that that's in your future. And it's all because of this work you've done, starting with your family and romantic relationships to balance things out. What else for pile 2? What are they doing right? Anything else you want to say, Spirit? Seven of Coins. Sometimes this card in this deck, I get the message, let it burn, and that's what I'm getting here. It's almost giving me more of the vibe of the Tower card, which I know that isn't the meaning of this card typically. It's about careful and wise investments and assessing your investments. But seriously, like, Spirit just is wanting to say, like, it's okay to just let something burn to the ground and not save it from itself. I'm actually thinking of an example of a friendship of mine that was very, very close for very many years. And for the last several years, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years, there just hasn't been a lot of reciprocation coming back for me from that relationship. I'm even feeling it now. Like, I'm feeling like the guilt and shame almost coming up as I'm talking about this story from my own life. But I feel confident in my own heart that, like, I did what I could to share what my experience was of the friendship, of the relationship, to try to fight for something better. And the other person was, compassionate to me, but the response was mostly like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm fine with how things are, basically. I'm fine with us not really seeing each other or getting together. So I stopped initiating to the point that I had in the past. And so we've basically gone no contact, which is not something I ever thought would have happened in this particular relationship. But it's something that Spirit brings up to me frequently to just remind me to, like, it's okay to accept the truth of how things are. It's okay to accept that though you and this person love each other, there's not much of a relationship right now. It's okay to accept that you're not willing to carry a relationship forward only on your own shoulders. And it also doesn't mean the other person doesn't love you. Pile 2, it's like, it's a skill deficit, it's a maturity deficit, or a priorities problem, or a combination of all of those things. But it's truly not about you and how much this person loves or cares about you. Anyway, coming back to the meaning I was getting for this card of just let it burn. Like, it's really okay to let whatever existed there before totally fall away and see what's left and if there's anything to be rebuilt upon that foundation. One more story I'm thinking of that Spirit's coming to mind, and this was when I separated from my husband, actually, which was very difficult. 2021, I guess, was when we did that. And really the only reason I finally asked for and insisted on that separation was that I just knew I couldn't go forward the way that we were relating. And I didn't have much hope for reconciliation or that things would get better. But something miraculous happens when you really focus on your own needs and just show up for yourself in the relationship instead of like expecting the other person to show up for you. Like I really shifted my expectations from expecting my husband to show up to me, so changing that to expecting me to show up for me. So if I wasn't getting the space I needed, if I didn't have my needs met, then I should say that and make it happen. And I have to say, like, we both really did the work, and a miracle occurred, and we ended up getting back together after living apart for several months. But it's been a totally different relationship. It does not resemble, I call it actually marriage 2. Although there's probably been many more than 2 by now. We've been married almost 20 years, but marriage 1 just was very different. Not good or bad, better or worse, but just very different because we were different people. And now we have this new thing that's totally other than what we had before. And I think I'm sharing that again for just encouragement for you, pile 2, that even if something burns to the ground doesn't mean that it's lost. It means that it will come back to you potentially in another form, if it's meant for you. And if not, and sometimes that other form is like a different person or a new situation. But whatever the case, like, these steps that you've taken have ensured that you will have the positive future and emotional abundance that you want and need. Okay, pile 2. Again, I'm feeling uncomfortable with how many personal stories I'm sharing, but Spirit asked me to do it, I do it. So I guess just to say, like, thank you for being here at this reading and for understanding that delivering these readings is about my own growth as well. I'm always surprised how much Spirit uses these to also support me in where I'm at in my journey. So to close your reading, let's pull from the Oracle of the Shapeshifters, and we have number 35. You are unlike anyone else. Your contradictions and complexities are interesting. So again, if there's anything you've been criticizing yourself about for the way that you've been showing up, or for consistencies or inconsistencies, things like this, Spirit's wanting to let you know, like, you are beautiful and perfect exactly as you are. Nothing is missing, nothing is wrong. Thank you, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Leave me a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Hey, pile 3, thanks for being here. If you picked the 9 of Cups in reverse, let's see, what are you doing right? We've got 9 of Cups in the reverse, the Hierophant, 3 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, the Hanged One. Let's move these over a little bit so I can fit them all. The Magician and King of Pentacles. Wow. Wow. What are you doing right? A little less conversation, a little more action, please. You are moving out of the dream state and into the work phase. This could be literally anything. It could be your career. It could be some area, some goal that you have. It could be your fitness. It could be your friendships, your relationships. You'll know what situation this is, but whatever situation it is, it's like you've decided, I need to get busy. I need to put my values into action. I need to actually exhaust myself for this goal. This reminds me of someone I know right now who was telling me the other day, like, you know, I realize I'm in my prime earning years, so I've got like 10 years to make the most money that I'm going to make in my lifetime. And I'm really going to focus on that, put myself in the best position possible to be able to earn what I can so that I can enjoy the rest of my life. And has really like thrown themselves into that. There's something like that here where you've made some kind of a decision, like, if, you know, if I want to be well connected and have a lot of real true friends, then I need to put myself out there more. I need to meet more people. Or if I'm going to date somebody, I need to go to some speed dating events, or ask my friends to set me up, or go on dating apps, or I need to put some action towards it. So whatever it is that is the specific situation for you, you've moved out of the contemplation and planning phase and into the action phase. And Spirit's wanting to say, like, good job, bravo, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. And it's having great results. I mean, the Magician with the King of Pentacles is an amazing combination. If you haven't seen your desired outcome from these actions you've been taking yet, it's like just around the corner. But I think most of you who have chosen this pile are already seeing some positive result from what you're doing, which is awesome. Pile 3. So what else for pile 3? What are they doing right that you want to let them know about, Spirit? I'm hearing for some of you this is specifically about working on a marriage, and bringing more love into the situation. Yeah. And what is it that you want to say about that, Spirit? So I think you've moved, I mean, all of us coming into romantic relationships have an idea of what love should be, could be, what it is and what it isn't. And you have shifted from like how I want to feel and what love is to actually like being love, showing love, doing love. The example that's coming to mind is like, let's say your romantic partner is an acts of service person. So like what means love to them is if you mow the lawn, if you change the light bulbs, if you cook them dinner, whatever. You have shifted perhaps what your natural proclivities are about love to what is going to have the best result in the relationship, which is what helps the other person feel loved, and actually then in return you get more of what you want. Does it make sense? So it's like instead of focusing on what you want and need, you're focusing on like what's practical in the situation to get the outcome that you want. So even though it's something dreamy and romantic and wonderful like love for many of you, you're taking a very practical approach to it. Fool in reverse. You're also educating yourself. This is reminding me of some family members I know that are going to therapy right now for the first time. Temperance card with the star in the back, which is, yeah, about healing. So it's reminding me of some family members I have that have been married for, I want to say, 12 or 15 years by now, probably, and have never gone to therapy either individually or together, and are having some like conflict and communication issues that have been coming up. So they both started therapy individually and together, and are working on like the practical skills to be able to connect better and communicate better and all of that. So that would be an example of this too. Like, you know, what is out there that I don't know that would support me and what I need to do here. So let's say this isn't about love for you and it's some kind of like practical project. Let's say you're building a house, which would be a very large project, but you are throwing yourself into what you need to know, like what education would be important for you so that you're able to do it in a solid, like balanced, productive way that isn't going to be, it's not going to be built on shaky ground. And again, with the star, like this is the second time in your reading that there's come through like a promise of like the actions that you're currently taking are going to get you to your desired outcome. So if you had a doubt about that, pile 3, about whether you're on the right path, whether you're ever going to get to where you're going, the answer is yes. You're doing amazing. Spirit wants you to know that everything's exactly on track and you're taking just the right approach. What else for pile 3? Anything else for pile 3, what they're doing right? We have Ace of Swords in reverse. Page of Swords in the reverse, and Death card, which is all about change and transformation, which this pile is definitely about. So again, I'm getting the example of like marriage therapy or like a relationship counseling. you are identifying the things that you tell yourself that aren't true. So let's say like you have a partner and there's conflict, and maybe in the past you would have thoughts come up of like, well, they just don't love me, or I'm just not good enough, or this relationship just isn't going to last. And maybe those kind of thoughts would really like torment you and bother you a lot. Spirit is saying that what you're doing right is you're saying, actually, that's not the problem. There's obviously a miscommunication. This is a communication problem, not a love problem. So let's solve the right problem, and maybe in the past you've had other partners where it has been like they just aren't that into you. You're not that into them. It's not the right match, but you know deeply that this is the right person for you. So it's just like a skills or capacity issue. So Spirit is saying, good for you. You're working on just the right thing. Bravo. Anything else, Spirit? So Page of Swords in reverse. Let me look a little more closely at this card. To me, this is the same message as the Nine of Cups in reverse, especially because of like the image on the card. Do you see how this person is like dreaming of this rainbow and this car going through the forest, high-heeled shoes, money? It's like all their dreams and wishes, and it's in reverse. Again, like you're not just hoping and wishing for things to be better, you're putting action towards it and you're making a positive change. Amazing. So easy to talk about, so hard to do, pile 3. Let's draw an oracle of the shapeshifters for you to close your reading. What is pile 3 doing right? Whoa, we have 3 that want to come out. I guess we're going to go with it. The fairy ring, new skills, advanced training, rapid improvements. How cool is that? Were we not just talking about that? Like you learning what you need to. Little brother, little sister, siblings, younger friends, responsibility, number 40. So I'm getting with this is specifically for those of you that like the family message applies more, like you're figuring out exactly how to navigate in this situation. And then we have Frog Princess, number 21, heed wise counsel and listen. So if any of you have the question in your mind, like, am I going to the right person to learn about this situation? The answer to that is absolutely yes. You're getting wise counsel. You are rapidly improving in whatever area that you need to, and you're listening to the right voices. How cool. I'm so happy for you, pile 3. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed your reading, and I'll see you next time. Hey, pile 4, if you picked the Towers, let's see what cards you have. Thanks for being here. We're asking, what are you doing right? We have the Towers with the King of Cups. I think you broke up with somebody, or you put distance between yourself and someone else, this King of Cups person. For some of you, this person might be an alcoholic or an addict of some kind. They're certainly codependent, meaning like, so obviously everybody is codependent to one degree or another, but codependent just means I need something outside of myself to be okay. And for some people, that's like some kind of drug. For others, it's like a relationship. For some, it's work or achievement, positive affirmation from others. It could be a million things. But this person, that you have realized that the dynamic between you and this person is really not healthy. And despite how much they love and care about you, it's not a healthy place for you to be. And so you put some distance between yourself and this person. And, I mean, they are very sad about it. I don't know if they're showing that to you, pile 4, but I'm really getting, like, the emotion that I'm getting off of the person on this card is just like lonely, sad, dejected, and alone. And I think that's probably what has stopped you from taking this step in the past, because you don't want to make anybody feel that way. But you saw yourself deteriorating, pile 4, and you got to the point where you had to choose your own path. I'm hearing You taught me that I will never love someone else more than I love myself again. You saw what happened when you're pouring all of yourself into this person and not into yourself. For a very small few of you, this is not a romantic person. It's a work situation or a job but it's a similar dynamic where this job needs a lot from you and just isn't giving much back. Maybe this job gives you the verbal tip. So this is the concept for any of you who have ever waited tables or worked in restaurants. There's a certain caricature of customer that comes in and like wants to be like really chatty and friendly and be interested in your life. Like if this is from like my days as a waitress, which I did like all through school for many, many years. And there would just be some of the customers that would be like super nice to you, but then when they actually leave the tip, it would be like a 10% or 15% tip, which is pretty bad. And the joke was with me and all my coworkers at different places, like, oh, that they're a verbal tipper. Which to me is the most annoying thing ever. Like, don't tell me how great I am. I'm busy. Like, there's a very clear relationship here between me and you. It's that I do things for you, and then you give me the money that is sustainable that makes my life sustainable. Like, that is our agreement. Not for you to make me feel good or be friendly to me. Like, that's not what anybody's here for. Maybe it's what you're here for, but not me. And actually, I'm wondering. I mean, having that mindset, maybe people weren't getting what they needed from me, the verbal tippers, and that's why the tips were lower. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, like, this job situation, it's the equivalent of a verbal tip, where it's like they tell you how amazing you are, how appreciated you are, how nobody can do it like you, but in terms of your benefits, your salary, your working conditions, it just isn't doing it for you, and it's not a sustainable place for you. So you're like, I'm glad that you love me, but this is not a healthy situation for me to stay in. So whichever situation you're in, pile 4, the circumstances aren't as important as the fact that you have noticed that this is not healthy for you and that you need to step away. And Spirit is saying, yes, you're doing absolutely the right thing. I'm also hearing that if you're being hard on yourself for how long it's taking you to distance yourself from this situation, Spirit's also wanting to let you know, like, it's okay. It's okay not to make a clean break and never go back. And so here's the next thing I'm hearing. I've heard this quote before that I personally really agree with. I don't know that others would. It's about addiction, but it says that any true journey to healing with addiction involves multiple relapses. So I don't know if that's objectively true or not. I personally think it's true in my life. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe there's some people that can quit something cold turkey and never go back. But I think for many of us, when you realize something is bad for you and it's hurting you, you step away from it, and then some time goes by and it's almost like you try again to go back and like, is this still bad for me? Can I maybe just have the good parts without the bad parts? And you learn again, oh no, it's just not good for me. And that process is really important because it shifts the learning from like just in your mind into your body, into your heart, into your spirit. Where like you know that this is bad for you, that this is not something that you want in your life anymore. So if you've struggled to say no and stick to that no in this situation, Spirit is saying, like, that's all been part of the process. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken. You haven't done anything wrong. It's okay for it to take multiple steps for you to be able to do that. Pile 4. What else, Spirit? What else do you want pile 4s to know that they're doing well? You're not trying. You're not overburdening yourself the way that you have in the past. We have a bunch of ones falling out here. You're letting whatever this is work itself out without your involvement. Ace of Wands, the Empress, and the Three of Cups. You are paying attention to what lights you up inside, what makes you feel passionate, what makes you feel like you are a nurturing, abundant person, and you're focusing on your friends, you're focusing on good times. Maybe you've been a person overly focused on work or what you can achieve in the past. It's coming to mind that when I was doing that description of codependency, there's that one of the examples I gave was being addicted to success or achievement. And I'm thinking for many of you in this pile, that might be where you fall. And of course, that's on a range from how intense that's been in your life. But generally, you've been more focused on tasks than actually like fun and enjoying your life and living your life. And so that has shifted for you recently, and Spirit is saying like you're doing an amazing job just actually doing what you want to do for that day. And so now I'm hearing like maybe for some of you, what I want to do that day is sit in bed and play Candy Crush Saga until my eyes bleed. And that's not exactly like that fun or making me feel that good. And Spirit's wanting to say like, okay, great that you recognize that it's not the highest quality of fun that there is. And you are going to find better versions of fun. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start with what you know. And many of us, I can put myself in this camp. If you've had a past or even a present of being a workaholic or someone that is very focused on everything that you need to do, not what you need to experience in your life, then usually when you have a spare minute to yourself, that's filled with not actual fun, but like taking the edge off experiences. So let me explain what I mean. And I'll just use myself as an example because I can relate to this. Times when I've been like busier in my life, the minute that I have a second to sit down, I'm like zoning out with TV immediately. I'm ordering takeout. I'm having a drink. I'm doing something to just like help my body physically relax and slow down and stop and numb out. It's like, yeah, numbing out. That's actually probably the best way to say it. And that's not the same thing as fun or enjoyment. And if you're seeing yourself like really gravitate to a lot of those things, then your system has a higher need for rest and relaxation than it's been getting. And as soon as, you know, that meter is full and you're feeling rested enough, then you will start seeking out higher quality, fun activities that are more fulfilling for you. Does it make sense, Pile 4? Let me know what you think about that. That's really just the way I look at it, and I feel like that's coming through in your reading. So what else is Pile 4 doing really right now? We have the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Swords. I love this. So it's funny because the Ace of Cups came out in Pile 3 and I'm getting a totally different message for you. Do you see on this cup it says, "We are happy to serve you," and then next to it we have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords, the musical, actually, this is the New York City Tarot deck. I love this deck. Anyway, if something doesn't make you feel this way inside, like Ace of Cups, overcome with passion, love, and inspiration, and where you're feeling like, I'm happy to serve you, yes, I'll do that thing, then you're immediately cutting it off. And I think this includes work. Like, even if it's your job to do something, it's like, I'm actually getting that quote from Office Space. I'm not going to go today. Oh, you mean you're going to quit? No. Nuh-uh. I'm not going to go. So there's something in you where you're just not participating in things that don't light you up anymore. And Spirit is saying, like, bravo, this is so important for you. And it's not going to be a forever thing. If you're getting some internal judgment of the way that you're showing up with this, it's not going to always be true. But for right now, this is the way you are, and that's okay. It's been important to balance the way that you've been in the past with the overgiving and the intensity that you've had up till now. Okay. Let's close your reading, Pile 4, with a card from Oracle of the Shapeshifters. Let's see what we have for Pile 4. Wolf Moon, I will watch over you. You're very protected, Pile 4. If this not showing up for others in a way that makes them just absolutely love you for no other reason than like you're giving them everything that they need and want from you, if that's leaving you feeling vulnerable and unsteady and maybe a little bit unsafe, Spirit is saying like, you're protected. I'm watching over you. Nothing bad is happening. Nothing bad will happen to you on my watch. You can rest. Thank you, Pile 4. That was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.